Welcome back to Razmabsar TV. I'm really happy to say hello to you from the beautiful Canary Islands, Canary Island, Fuerteventura, which is one of the Canary Islands, of course. And at Sotavento Beach, and I'm going to talk about the symbol of lion and the sun on Iranian or Persian arms and armor. To do so, I already prepared some materials for you, and I'm going to share them with you so we can then take a look at them together. So let me just go ahead from here and then so we can take a look at them. As you know, on some Iranian arms and armor, we have the symbol of lion and the sun, and the symbol of lion and the sun. There are different interpretations of them. At the same time, we have the symbol of a lion attacking a bull, or later on a gazelle or a deer, or different animals. And the whole idea of it is that the lion is subjugating a strong animal like a bull, or also, weaker animals like deer or whatever, but the whole idea is subjugating. So the symbol of lion and the sun, and then the symbol of lion subjugating a bull, which we will see not only on ancient Iranian arms and armor, but also on many Iranian arms and armor from the Islamic era. There are different interpretations on them. We have a number of Persian or Iranian shamshir blades, which among collectors of arms and armor, they're known as trade blades. I mean, there is no written document that they were only trade blades, but this is what it's known. And you see the image of a lion, which in French we call them lion passant regardant, a lion which is walking and looking back. And at the same time, you see also sometimes this lion is alone, and sometimes it has also is combined with as the symbol of the sun. Sometimes the raised image of the sun with facial features is found in the center of steel shields or on the surface of steel helmets, from the Qajar period specifically. But we need to understand that before I published my first book, Arms and Armor from Iran in 2006, many people believed that these arms and armor and these images of the lion and the sun, and also the sun, come automatically from the Qajar period. But I already proved that it's not the case. We have also Safavid period blades with the symbol of the lion and the sun. Please remember, we have also Safavid period coins with the symbol of lion, right? So, what is the interpretation of this? We need to take a look at it now. I would like to mention, I'm going only to introduce some of the theories of that, not all of them. And we need also to understand that one of the titles of Hazrat Ali, Imam Ali, was Asadullah, the Lion of God. So you see here we have the lion as well. And even Shah Abbas was addressed as Farzad Zodi Asadullah, right? The grandson of the Lion of God, since he considered himself Sayyid, or a descendant of the Prophet's family. So we not only have an association with ancient Iran, but also with Hazrat Ali. But many people also, or some researchers say that Hazrat Ali in Persian understanding also symbolized the lion and also symbolized the Persian heritage at the same time, in a meaning that the Shiite belief and Hazrat Ali were mixed with a Persian ideology of kingdom and also bravery. We all know that cultures influence each other, of course. Pictorial emblems of the lion and the sun are known outside of the Qajar period, such as those minted on Safavid coins, as follows, as Bakhtin mentions them. So when we see a blade from with a symbol of lion and the sun, we should not automatically attribute it to the Qajar period, because we need to compare it to also other examples from the Safavid period, because we have also some of them with bull charm, hand guard, which show the symbol of the lion and the sun. The lion, the bull, and the relationships with the season. As you can see it here in Persepolis, you see a lion attacking the bull and subjugating it. The lion and the bull is another important image in Iranian mythology. The bull and the horned animals were considered symbols of the moon, probably since the curved shape of the horns resembled the half-moon crescent. On the other hand, the lion and the horse symbolized the sun. An ancient seal depicts a lion in a standing position, subjugating two bulls by holding down each under its paws. And in contrast, next to it is a bull standing, subjugating two lions by holding each with one of its hooves. On top of each battle scene, there is a triangle, and this triangle stands for a symbol of the sky, indicating the change of seasons. In ancient times, the moon was the symbol of winter, long winter nights, rain and darkness, and the sun was the symbol of the summer, long and warm days. There were only 2 seasons in the year. This way, the battle scene between the lion and the bull signifies a change in season. That's very important to take into account. Meaning, when the lion is subjugating the bull, it is the warm season, spring and summer. And when the bull is subjugating the lion, it symbolizes the cold season, fall and winter. Please check Nayir Nuri for this interpretation. Another interpretation holds that this combat scene represents the changes of the season, as I mentioned, and referring to the combat scene between a bull and a lion depicted in Apadana or Persepolis, one can see that this symbol represents the start of the Nowruz festivity. That's another interpretation. And spring, since the lion, the symbol of summer and daylight, conquers the bull, the symbol of winter and night. This interpretation makes sense or perfect sense when we consider the role Persepolis played in conducting the festival of Nowruz. This interpretation assumes that the symbol of the lion and the sun on the sides of the Apadana served as the astrological signs tied to a specific calendar date, Iranian New Year Nowruz in spring. And again, Nayir Nuri, please check it for this interpretation. We have also another approach or hypothesis that holds that the lion represents the sun and the bull is the symbol of the moon. I indicated it before. Hence, the fighting scene between the lion and the bull should, therefore, represent the day and night cycle. Interpreting the meaning of the fighting between the lion and the sun, Sudavar explains that in Bondahesh, a compilation of knowledge from the Avesta and other ancient Iranian sources of knowledge, its basic purpose is to explain fully and completely the worldview or cosmology of early Zarathushtri religion, that at the beginning of creation, the seeds of the primordial bull are taken to the moon so that the seeds of other animals can be obtained. Additionally, Sudavar states that in different seal compositions, full bulls pull the chariot of the moon. In the Bondahesh, the moon is considered lord of the clouds and far giver of the divine glory. As the chariot of the moon is drawn by four bulls, the bull is considered to be the symbol of the moon and the seas and a dispenser of the divine glory, the same function that is exercised by Apam Napat. Based on the Farvardin Yasht, or Farvardi Yasht, Sudavar explains that right after the birth of Zarathustra, Mitra and Apam-Napat were both entrusted with upholding authority and vanquishing rebellion. Upon Napat is the deity who, after Jamshid had lost the Kavarna, took hold of it and hid it under the sea. The sun god Mitra projected Kavarna during the day, and the aquatic god Apamnapat protected it at night. And on the other hand, as the lion is used or serves as the symbol of the sun and Mitra, the symbol of the lion and the bull should therefore accordingly represent the day and night cycle. This cycle shows the ancient Iranian division of daily hours between Mitra and Apamnapat. Sudavar stresses that the emblem of the lion and the bull does not show the lion killing the bull, so it's not a killing scene in contrast to what people assume. The lion is only trying to overwhelm and subjugate the bull. The bull is not shown as a wicked animal, but as a majestic creature trying to escape the lion's grasp. In this way, Sudavar concludes that this emblem represents a visual metaphor for the fact that the sun overwhelms the night at dawn, but loses its hold at dusk. We have also another hypothesis that assumes that the image of a lion fighting symbolizes that even a strong power, such as the bull, could not overcome the powers of the stronger overlord, the lion. The remnants of the Achaemenids' legacy emerged in the Iranian national epic, the Shahnameh, written by Ferdowsi in the 10th century, such as the appearance of the Achaemenid concept and metaphor of a lion fighting a bull. This old Achaemenid metaphor has its origins in the ancient Mesopotamian motif and also appears in the Sassanid period. Although the metaphor of a lion fighting a bull also appears in Khalil-o-Damneh, there it has an alternate meaning. Whereas it is important to see that the motif in Ferdowsi's Shahnameh is in line with the Achaemenid context and conveys the same message that was intended by the Achaemenid designers of the art program of Persepolis, according to Jamzadeh. The images of lions and bulls as powerful forces epitomizing royalty and with the king subjugating them during a hunting activity all signal the duties of a king in safeguarding his realm or kingdom. The image of a lion fighting and subjugating a bull serves to relate the message that even a strong power such as the bull could not overcome the powers of the stronger overlord, the lion. This way, the image emphasizes the futility of challenging the Achaemenid's king superior powers or superiority, and the importance of accepting the king's supremacy. The same concept of a lion fighting a bull appears in the Shahnameh. For example, at the beginning of the story of King Qaboos and his efforts to conquer an empire, the same concept of the fight of the lion and the bull is used to convey the superiority of the king and pay him tribute. Every lord accepted paying tribute. The bull did not test the lion. That's the translation. Another scene when Sohrab challenges the Iranian fortress, the Iranian heroine Gorda Farid stands at the fortress wall and warns Sohrab of the futility of his challenge by making a statement that astonishingly resembles the contents of the Achaemenid message. It is in your interest to obey and turn your famous face towards Turan. Do not count on your arm strength. The stupid bull will be hit on the side. Jamzadeh also adds that as compared to Khalil-o-Damneh, the descriptions provided by Ferdowsi more closely resemble the concept of the Achaemenid period, namely indicating the futility of challenging the power of the king. Additionally, it is important to note that the Iranian kings ordered the Shahnameh to be written for their successors. So we have three different interpretations regarding understanding the meaning of the emblem of the lion fighting a bull. A, this emblem signals the beginning of Nowruz, the new Iranian New Year, and thus the New Year. B, this emblem shows the ancient Iranian division of daily hours between Mitra and Apamnapat. And C, this emblem means that challenging the power of the King of Kings as the overlord is futile, regardless of the strength of the king. So let me continue with the lion and the ibex, which is a transfer of ancient Iranian image of lion and the sun. The image of the lion fighting the bull can also be seen later on some Persian daggers, Qajar, from the Qajar period, even earlier. However, it is important to take into account that there was a transformation, as I mentioned, in the contents of this motif, since in many examples, an ibex has replaced the bull on Qajars. It means that the lion is attacking an ibex. Since an ibex or ibex is not considered a symbol of strength as much as a bull is, it seems that the original meaning of this message, which among other pieces of Achaemenid art served to legitimize the power of the kingdom, was transformed into a mere hunting scene, showing off the strengths of the lion. This change took place in a number of art pieces, since unlike the Achaemenid period, when art served legitimization purposes for the kingdom, it did not have this function in the same way in later periods. Now let me just go to Mitraism, the bull, and the sun. Ancient Iranians considered the eagle hawk as the symbol of the royal crown, whereas the sun was the symbol of power and strength. They used both these images on their flags and standards. And during the Achaemenid period, the historian Quintus Curtius reports that around 100 BC, the Iranian flag bore the moon at the beginning of the Achaemenid era, while the Greeks used the sun as the symbol on their flags. Further proof that the sun was not the symbol of the Iranians in the beginning of the Achaemenid period, if they want to rely on this source, of course. And the further is that there was a solar eclipse upon the invasion of Greece by the Iranians, and Xerxes ordered the Moabites and Moghans to interpret this. They reported that the king should not worry, since the sun predicts the future for the Greeks and the moon for the Iranians. And thus, a solar eclipse was not a bad omen for the Iranians. Quintus Curtius reports that the sun became the symbol of the Iranian flags only around the end of the Achaemenid period, based on Nair Nuri. So there was a shift in the same empire period. However, the exact date of this transition and the change is unclear. What is sure and evident is that at the end of the King Xerxes era, the symbol of the sun had gained importance, and during the era of Ardashir, the name of Mehr was mentioned in the stone inscriptions. Ferdowsi in his Shahnameh also states that the symbol of the Iranians was the sun. So this is important to take into consideration. We have a clear indication in the important book of the King's Shahnameh that the sun was the symbol of the Iranians. Opinions differ on this, of course, as usual. And then it is said in the Shahnameh, when the moon of the Turks rises, it will be damaged by the Iranian sun. In the Iranian religious tradition, Mitra was one of the most ancient and powerful deities. Mitra was the god of the sky as well as the god of contracts and mediation. His name originally meant covenant. As Orthodox Zarathushtri religion gradually took hold over the Iranian lands, Mitra eventually became subordinated to the supreme creator god, Ahura Mazda, or Mazda. He eventually came to be seen as Ahura Mazda's representative on earth, as the divine judge of the dead, and as Ahura Mazda's chief champion and general in the battle against Ahriman, Angra Mainyu. It is possible that temples devoted exclusively to Mitra endured until the late Parthian or early Sassanid era, as Sasan, the namesake and ancestor of the Sassanid dynasty, was reputed to be the high priest Mobed Mobedan at the temple of Anahita, the fertility goddess who was the mother of Mitra. The Iranian worship of Mitras is a very confusing subject, for Mitra was simultaneously one of the most ancient Iranian or Indo-Iranian sky gods, and an actual incarnated god who was born to the Immaculate Virgin Anahita sometime during the early 3rd century BC. In ancient times, it was considered that flora and fauna originated from the moon. According to Beiruni, the ancient Iranians believed that the bull made of light with golden horns and a silver tail drew the chariot of the moon. In the Bondahesh, chapter 10, verse 1, chapter 14, verse 13, it is mentioned that the first creature made by Ahura Mazda was the bull, Barzar. Ahriman tormented the bull for a long time until it weakened and finally died. Upon its death, 55 different types of grain and 12 types of medicinal plants were produced from each part of its body. The genes that were clean and powerful were transported to the moon. The moonlight further purified these genes and created 282 different forms of animals. This legend is the basis of Mitraism, and Mitraism reached its zenith at the end of the Achaemenid period, and one of the major ceremonies of Mitraism was sacrificing a bull, where its blood was shed on the ground so that the plants would grow from it. The person who sacrificed the bull was Mer, who was a young Persian. During the sacrifice, Mer, the symbol of the sun and summer, kills the bull, the symbol of the moon and winter, and as a result, various plants begin to grow. The sun and Mer. In ancient Iran, the sun was considered. Look at this. I just wanted to mention that. Look at this. Here you see on a handle. Here, first of all, let me just explain. This is Afshari period Tabarzin, and you see a lion attacking a bull, and then here a lion is attacking a bull, right? Or an ibex, right? Here you see the same. It's an ibex on the top of the handle of a khanjar. In ancient Iran, the sun was considered the symbol of eternal life and the splendor of the kingdom. One of the roles of the sun was to purify, and another role was to serve as the symbol of the Iranian kingdom and its power. In ancient Iran, the sun and Mer were considered two different entities. In the Avesta, the verse 145 of Mer Yash says, "We sacrifice unto Mitra and Ahura, the two great eternal holy gods, and to the stars and the moon and the sun." The two terms mingled and became one over the course of time. Strabon reports that the Iranians worshipped the sun as well, which they called Mer. In the 5th century, the Armenian historian Elisha reports that the Zarathustris called a person who is generous and treats everyone equally by the name of Mer, since the sun also provides light, warms the environment, and gives food for human beings and animals. Even Ferdowsi considers both of these meanings in his national epic, the Shahnameh. The festival of Mehregan, which occurs from the 16th to the 21st of the month of Mehr in Iran, used to be the festival of the kings. Abu Rayhan Beiruni states in the manuscript Asar al-Baghiye that one of the customs of the Sassanid kings was to put a crown with the face of the sun on their heads. The sun was a circle mounted on the crown. Note that some helmets, armor, and steel shields from the late Qajar period also bear the image of a raised sun with facial features. We come to astrological origins of the lion and the sun. It is not entirely clear when the image of the lion and the image of the sun were combined in Iran and when they were first used on flags and other items. Some of the oldest evidence for the emblem of the lion and the sun appears on a cylinder of King Sosetar, who ruled in 1459 BC. On the cylinder-shaped seal, there is a symbol of the sun with two wings mounted on a column with two lions guarding it. Different animals were used as symbols on Iranian flags, including legendary animals such as the sea morph and dragon, as well as other animals, such as the lion and the eagle. Many poets refer to the usage of lions on flags. The lion was the symbol of manhood, courage, kingdom, and beauty. The lion was also used in Iranian handicraft for many years. There are different interpretations of the meaning of the symbol of the lion and the sun in the literature. This can be divided into the following categories. One approach holds that Ghiyasettin Kaykhosro, the son of Alauddin Kayqubad, one of the Seljuk sultans of Asia Minor, enthroned in 634 Hijra, 1237 Anno Domini, married the daughter of a Georgian king, and since she was very beautiful, he wanted to mint her face on silver coins and dirhams. Since portraying human faces was not customary and indeed forbidden in Islam, especially a female face, the religious leaders and court completely opposed this idea. However, the king persisted in championing his idea, so his craftsmen at the court portrayed her face as the face of the sun and combined it with the zodiac sign Leo, the sign of the king. The reasoning of the craftsman was that the sun was passing through the zodiac sign Leo when the king had been born. Another approach postulates that the emblem of the lion and the sun is a celestial sign, and these had been in use prior to the era of Ghiyasettin Kaykhosro. In this way, the emblem of the lion and the sun was a celestial and astrological sign. The ancient astrologers divided the 12 signs of the zodiacs among 7 planet stars, meaning that they attributed a special power when each planet star was in a certain constellation, a certain combination of a planet, star, and a constellation. And 3, another theory holds that the sun represented a female entity, and the male lion was clearly the symbol of the male counterpart. This is based on the dualistic nature of ancient Iranian philosophy, which possibly led to the coinage of the sun. Second, in Persian, the sun is regarded as a female entity, as Khurshid Khanum, lady sun, in contrast to its pre-Islamic male gender. In the pre-Islamic Iranian mythology, the angel deity Mitra, who represented the sun, was male. However, in today's Persian, the names Mitra and Mehr of the male deity are now used as girl names as Mitra and Mehri. However, one does not know the exact date of the sun's gender transformation. What is clear is that the representation of the sun as a female entity can also be seen in many older Persian stories. Another theory holds that the lion represents Ali, the first Shiite saint after the Prophet Muhammad. Ali is known to Shiite Muslims as Asadullah, Lion of God. This is the first Imam. The extensive use of this symbol since the Safavid times onwards could be placed within the context of its Shiite connotation with Asadullah. Lion and the sun as the state symbol of Iraq and the incorporation of the sword during the reign of Fath Ali Shah Qajar, in the furtherance of the good relationship existing at the time between Iran and the European countries, the Iranian government wanted to present the uniform emblem of the country to the Europeans. As an ancient symbol, it considered the emblem of the lion and the sun to be the most appropriate. The symbol of the lion and the sun derived its current shape, Pahlavi era shape, from the era of Muhammad Shah Qajar. The lion is facing to the left with its tail raised as a mane and it's looking at its audience. The mane is like a feature of an African lion, not an Asian lion. That's very interesting to see at this transfer. Here is from Safavid period era. You see it doesn't have a mane like the African mane. Here again on an axe, you see the same lion attacking the bull. Here you see as well, this is sword Shamshir attributed to Fath Ali Shah. These are all published in my books. A painting from the Muhammad Shah period shows Haj Mirza Hassan Khan Shirazi, the ambassador to Russia, carrying the symbol already in 1231 Hijra 1816. There are also documents from the beginning of Muhammad Shah Qajar, showing the standing line with the Shamshir. There is a seal of the sun and lion from the era of Muhammad Shah, with the date 1255 Hijra 1839, Anno Domini. And this date coincides with the first year of the reign of Muhammad Shah. During the reign of Muhammad Shah Qajar, the lion began to be portrayed standing instead of sitting and was given the sword in his hand in order to land the country unique symbol. Since up to that time, there had been 2 flags for Iran, one depicting sword and the other the symbol of lion of the sun. Here you see the lion is sitting and no sword in his hand. To have one symbol for the country, the lion was depicted holding the sword with the sun on its back and this symbol started to appear on flags as well as on coins and state letters. This coincides with the era during which religious inscriptions in Arabic started to disappear. This is probably due to the fact that the symbol of Shiite's Qajar sword was given to the line so that it should protect Shiitism, meaning that the sharpness and manliness of the sword and the illuminating power and heat of the sun were added to the power and bravery of the lion. However, some state letters depict the lion at rest and without a sword. This was probably due to the fact that the Iranian government was afraid that the European powers might misinterpret this as a sign of aggression. However, one should take the fact into consideration that in the Shahnameh written by Ferdowsi, there is already a poem describing the flag showing the lion with a sword. It is remarkable to see that the banner of Darz Bahsavas, which portrays a lion with a sword, is clearly mentioned in the Shahnameh. This specifically resembles the Iranian flag with the emblem of the lion and the sun during the Qajar and Pahlavi eras. The poem reads, the banner behind him was a lion holding a mace and sword in its hands. This is a Qajar period military saber, European-style military saber. Blade is made of patterned crucible steel with a symbol of a lion and the sun standing. You see that, and we have a sword in its hand. This is what we have in the late Qajar period and also in the Pahlavi period. I hope you enjoyed my video on the symbol of the lion and the sun. This is an extremely important symbol for Iran, for Persia, through its long history. So I talked about different symbols and how they were all combined to become the symbol of the lion and the sun holding a sword. Please note, I'm going to put the link of the article I wrote on this subject in one of the journals, Classic Arms and Militaria. And then regarding the symbol of the lions and the sun, if you want to read more, please consult my book, Arms and Armor from Iran, the Bronze Age to the End of the Qajar period. And if you wish to read more, I just want to say we are going to offer again soon 2 weeks of special discounts because we haven't had it for a while. So if you wish to buy any of my books, you can find selected books of mine at special discounts on my webpage, webshop. Thank you very much, and beautiful greetings. My greetings to you from the beautiful island of Fuerteventura and Canary Islands. Thank you very much and have a nice day.